What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. We're at the office, the Globe, once again. Everybody always asks me in DMs and comments and all that stuff for advice on tricks, on what tricks to do, and some tricks that they want to do but they know that I can help them with. So a lot of people have also asked me on how should I start riding. I need some trick tips. I need to know where to start, what tricks to do, and like, I like flat riding. A lot of people have said they supported my flat riding, so what I'm going to do today, instead of doing like a how-to, I'm going to give you guys 5 basic flatland tricks that you guys can learn at a beginner level. So these tricks are going to be something that you guys can do. Just make sure you have some pegs. I'm going to do some peg tricks. Make sure you guys have some pegs. If you don't have pegs, go get some, throw them on your scooter, but you can still do some of the tricks that I'm going to explain today. So let's start off with the first trick. First trick for flatland, you gotta know how to manual. You gotta know how to manual every which way possible. 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 6 feet, brakeless, no brake, 10 brakes, everything. You gotta know how to manual. Being able to manual helps with a lot of tricks because sometimes it's a middle trick. You have 2 tricks that you want to put together, you need to have a manual just to do things and put them together. This also helps with street. But flatland tricks, I say a 1 foot manual is probably the most useful, because this is access to a mega spin and a bunch of other tricks that involve you balancing, pumping, and connecting your flatland tricks. So being able to 1 foot manual will lead to you doing other combos, such as you want to be able to 1 foot manual straight, backwards, sideways, every which way possible. And this is something you guys can learn very easily. Put 1 foot on, take the other one off, and try to balance as much as you can. You guys can see that's very useful. You can go backwards, you can spin it, and connect tricks. This is a trick you guys can learn. If you don't really know how to bunny hop, you don't know how to tail whip, you don't know how to do anything, you'll be able to 1 foot manual. This was actually my first scooter trick that I've ever done. The next trick is very, very useful as well, only because this is another middle trick, another connecting trick to all flatland tricks, in my opinion. I use this a lot when I feel like I'm either gonna fall or I just need to connect another trick. It's like a safety trick. This is like my seat belt for all flatland tricks, and that is a fakie scooter fakie. Don't worry about getting in or out. I've also did a how-to video on that. You guys can go to my channel, type in how to fakie scooter fakie, how to scooter fakie. You'll see a how-to on that. But this is also a very useful trick because it's pretty easy. You guys can do this so easily. Just imagine your scooter is riding this way, and when you ride your scooter, you ride like that. So you just basically just gotta put the foot on and do the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Very useful trick for flatland. Let me get the lens kind of out of my pocket. Not only because it is an easy trick, it is a good way to set up an in-between tricks, but if you ever spin, you can do a track stand scooter fakie. This is a very useful trick. This is the main reason why I told you about this trick. Track stand scooter fakie is basically a sideways one, like that. And you can balance it. You don't even have to be rolling. It's a very useful trick because if you ever run out of speed, you can get into this trick like that and push the wheel and pump. Say run out of speed. Push the wheel and pump. Very useful trick, very easy trick, very easy to learn how to ride and hold the trick. Getting in or out is definitely going to be the tricky part, but if you need advice on that, don't forget to head to my channel. A lot of these tricks, if you're wondering how to do them, like a really detailed how-to, most of these tricks will be on my YouTube channel previously, so make sure you go check those out. I'll try to put as many as I can in the cards and all that stuff. But let's move on to the third trick. The third trick is a very, very basic trick, but can be turned into a good, complicated way to connect tricks with the other ones I just told you. And it's very similar to the first one. It's a tire tap, like that. Yes, that's so stupid looking, right? You're hopping around. But for connecting tricks, you want to be able to tire tap, because if you ever go and you stop, you gotta be able to tire tap whip. Tire tap is a good trick where it's like in the middle of a stall, you know how to use your brake, you're holding that center point for as long as you possibly can. That way you can set up to get into another spin or another manual or 180 yes, use your brake. I say there's nothing wrong with using your brake, especially if you're learning tricks and you're increasing your trick list. Increasing your trick list is the whole point we all ride. You want to be able to do as many tricks as you possibly can, and having a tire tap and doing tricks in and out of tire tap is very, very useful. Such as, like that. You can spin with it. Plenty of other stuff, very useful, and that is the third trick that you can actually combine with the first two. Okay, the next most useful trick. Remember I told you guys to put pegs on? It's time to have them on. If you don't have pegs, go grab like a socket wrench or something, or a bunch of bearings and a long axle, and just get something on, something you can stand on, because that is a very useful thing for flatline. You want to have pegs, more tricks. And with this trick, it's the front wheel. You can put both feet on, or you can have one. If you guys can get 2 pegs, very, very great. That's good news. Put them both in the front and be able to learn to hang 10. If you can only find one, we're going to do a peg 5, which is the same exact thing, just 1 foot. So it's kind of like hang 5 versus nose manual. Hang 10 is super, super useful because in order to connect more tricks, you want to be able to go on your front wheel and your back wheel. Being able just to go on your back wheel limits you. So if you have to switch back and forth to your front wheel, and being on your pegs is a little easier than doing a regular nose manual on your deck. Doing nose manuals on your deck takes a little more power, definitely more balance. Having your feet on the peg kind of centers yourself a little easier, and doing peg tricks will also help you gain more balance and control, and it actually cuts a lot of weight when you're doing hold tricks on the pegs. Instead of doing a manual, you do a peg manual. It's a lot easier to hold because you're further back, meaning less weight, easier to balance. So if you only find 1 peg, then you can do peg 5. This also increases your trick list times 1,000,000, because if you do hang 10s and peg 5s, you can do fork glides. You can do whiplashes. You can do half lashes. And plenty of other front peg tricks. Such a useful thing. I do a lot of front peg tricks. Very hard to hold in the beginning, but once you do, so much fun. Okay, this is the most basic trick out of all 5, but the most useful. So basically what I'm telling you guys is all these tricks can be very, very hard actually when you combine with other things. So in order to increase your flatland tricks, you want to have these 5 tricks, and then with these 5 tricks you can add all your tricks to these 5 tricks and increase your trick list times, I don't even, like this last one will double your trick list. So if you have 100 tricks, now you have 200. Very, very useful. And of course, I know it's so basic, but I'm going to show you how it cannot be basic and actually can complicate things, because if you learn everything one way, you're going to learn them the other way. And of course, it's how to fakie. Being able to fakie and ride backwards allows you to do everything you're doing backwards. I just did all those tricks forward, doing hang 10s. Now that you know how to ride backwards, you do fakie hang 10s, fakie manuals, everything. The biggest plus being able to ride backwards is when you spin. If you ever spin, do a mega spin. You ever try a mega spin? If you haven't, pause the video right now and go try one. But if you haven't tried mega spin, or if you have, sometimes when you do spin tricks, or if you're doing a pivot trick, it starts to go backwards, like that. If you don't know how to ride backwards, don't know how to hold your tricks backwards, if you ever lock into that situation, you wouldn't know how to get out and get back to where your wheel is rolling forward. So being able to ride backwards allows you to recover from the stuff. A lot of times I'll do mega spins and the wheel starts rolling backwards, just like that, and you mess up. But if you learn how to roll backwards with your tricks, you'll be able to save yourself. You'll be able to do more tricks. You'll be able to go backwards with your tricks. And imagine you doing every single trick you know how to do backwards. Now everything you know how to do gets doubled by so much, and it's so useful because a lot of times backward tricks are harder, and you need to be able to figure out how to hold those tricks backwards, whether you're spinning or you're just doing a straight backwards one. Everything I do, I try to do forward. Increase the trick list as much as I can. Combo it. Try to add one more thing, add two more things, add three more things. And then once I can do all that and I feel like there's a limit, go backwards and do the exact same steps all over again, but now fakie. And that is the most useful trick in flatland riding. Knowing all 5 of these tricks is just the beginning. It really just helps you increase your basic stuff and complicate it more to the point where you can figure out what more you can possibly do on flat, and flat is endless. Everybody will ask me, what else can you do on flat? I just gave you 5 tricks that will add hundreds of more tricks to your trick list. This is not really a how-to. These tricks are something that I hope you guys know how to do already, and if you don't, you can watch my how-tos. But if you know how to do all of these tricks, concentrate on applying all of these tricks to your current tricks. That's what makes it really, really useful. That's what makes all these tricks, like just for a tail whip, for instance, if you know how to tail whip, right? Yes, right? Now you did all 5 of those tricks. You can do a 1-foot manual tail whip. You can do a scooter fakie to tail whip. You can do hang 10 to tail whip. You can do pivoting tricks to tail whip. You can do tire tap to tail whip. You can do fakie tail whip. There's just one trick, and that's not even like all the variations of that trick. These 5 things are going to be so useful later on, and if you guys are actually using this video and going outside and figuring out, okay, I know how to do one trick, how do I like really expand that trick and go further with it? Don't just think you do one trick, you do one tail whip or one buttercup and it's over. You know, you can do fakie buttercup, you can do 360 buttercup, you can do tire tap buttercup. Really focus on these 5 tricks to expand your trick list. It's very, very useful, and I really focus on that myself. I'm not just saying it just to tell you guys. I do that every single day with every single new trick that I learn, and I try to really crank and figure out how to not just learn one trick that day and how to learn 20 different variations of that trick without really doing the 20 variations separately and doing it at once. But you guys get what I'm saying. If you guys want to ride flatland, let me know. Very serious comment I would like you guys to comment underneath. If you guys love flatland and you actually ride flat, please let me know, because this is something that I feel like I'm on my own. I don't really ride flat with anybody. You guys see I'm by myself. I'm always by myself. I just crank the music and that's really it. So if you ride flat, show me your clips, send me some clips, post them on Tribio, post them on Instagram, post them on Worm, post them on all that stuff. Send me the DMs of your clips, and I love seeing it. So I hope you guys use this video as a tool and really go outside and increase your trick list, and that's it. You guys know what to do. Go ride. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, turn on notifications for the daily uploads, and of course, tomorrow is another day.